Now you know that guy was probably scratching his head saying, who on earth uses a G3 with a 6x rifle scope, heavy barrel, and bipod? Well, that would be me, guys, in the works. And yes, you've probably already noticed, this is my assault sniper kit. And this is the return of the assault sniper. A lot of you guys really enjoyed that video I did way back when, kind of touching on this particular loadout. And if you're wondering what I'm actually using, I am using the bipod, I am using the heavy barrel, but I'm using the 6x zoom scope on this, and I'm using it on single fire pretty exclusively. Now if you go into a building, you might want to switch it to fully auto, but I'm using single fire and trying to be a little bit more precise with my shots. Now you're probably thinking to yourself, okay, this is kind of weird, what advantage does this setup have? Well, it doesn't really truly have any advantage over like a Mark 11 mod, the M39, any of those semi-autos. Those are always going to do more damage, they're going to have higher bullet velocity, but it does present you with an alternative to using the recon kit. You can still revive people, you can still heal people, and I find it to be a lot more effective than I think a lot of people would imagine. It's actually a lot of fun to use as well. Now, there's a lot of disadvantages. I'm not going to act like it's the best kit in the world. Obviously, you're pretty limited in a close quarters building. Any kind of close quarters engagements, you have to get 3 shots on the body in order to get a close range kill. I think up to 8 meters this thing is a 34 damage weapon, and then it stays at least a 30 damage weapon all the way out to 30 meters. Then it drops off to a 22 at its its furthest distance. So you do have to get some headshots if you get past like 60 meters, because they're really what makes this class work. If you're not hitting in the head, it's going to be a 5 bullet kill because it's a 22 damage weapon. And that's, that can get really frustrating because you can get a lot of shots on people and not actually kill them. So try to aim for the head when you can. I mean, it's actually kind of difficult to hit moving targets. My aim there was a little bit off. I recently changed my field of view up to 100, and you may notice that it seems a little bit more zoomed out. And it was a little bit difficult to adjust to, but I was still getting really good results with this kit last night. I would say, throughout my adventures with this, I was holding a 4KD in about, the 7 or 8 matches I played. And those were long, high ticket matches. So it is very effective. You do have to alter your playstyle a little bit. You can't be as run and gun as you might think. You really gotta work on the vantage points. And the one disadvantage to this particular kit is the bullet velocity is only 500 meters per second. So it is a little bit more difficult to catch up to people if they're moving. You have to lead your targets a lot more than if you're using one of the higher velocity snipers. But it's not a huge deal. I mean, in some situations it does come into play, but for the most part, you can be pretty stationary with this, and depending on your playstyle, you may not like something like that. It's really just personal preference. I have played a little bit more aggressive with this, but I find that the most effective strategy when using this weapon is finding vantage points, picking people off from a distance where you're actually at the advantage. Because if you didn't know it, the G3 actually has a really good accuracy when aimed down sights and not moving. It's like 0.1, which is tied with the M16A4 in the assault kit for being, super accurate. So you've got like sniper rifle accuracy here. You're talking about a weapon that is not going to be missing a lot, especially with heavy barrel, especially when you're bipoded down. This thing is just an absolute laser beam, and you can really pick your targets out. But I'm going to highly suggest that if you're going to try out this setup, you make sure that you're trying your best to stand still when aiming from, firing from the shoulder. Let's put it like that. Make sure you're steadying your scope. Make sure you're standing still, because that's where you get the most accuracy. Granted, if you're in the bipod, that's not a big deal. You're not going to have to worry about that kind of stuff. But if you're firing from the shoulder, you've got to stand still. That's where you're at your most accurate. That's where you're going to have the best results. If you're moving around a lot, you're going to run into some problems. Now, I'm guilty of this myself. I try to kind of watch myself on strafing around while I'm using this particular weapon, because I know I do it a lot with some of the other fully autos where I don't really worry too much about accuracy. But when you're using a precision, marksman weapon, you've got to make sure that your shots are getting on target, because you're going to get beat. Now, like I said earlier, the vantage points are what this weapon's all about. Like right here, I've got a vantage point on this guy. I can take my time, get my 3 headshots, he's down instantly. He probably, if I would have gotten 2 headshots, he actually would have probably been down in 2 headshots, because I think that was within the 30 damage range. But, it's a really effective setup. I think that a lot of people underestimate just how well this can perform. And right here, we've got some longer range sniping. Now, granted that, I'm kind of trying to figure out where my shots are going to land right there, because I hadn't shot from this far in a while. Once you kind of figure out where the bullet drop is, you can take these people out pretty quickly, as you see there, especially if you're getting a couple headshots in there. Unfortunately, though, it looks like their buddy got away there, but that's alright. I'm about to get his squad mates here in just a second. But, a lot of people asked me in the first rendition of this video, Jake, what is the advantage to using this setup? And I already touched on it a little bit. There's not a huge advantage, okay? In a lot of situations, you're going to lose to some of the semi-autos, but I have routinely, last night and in the past when I've used this setup, routinely outshot snipers from a pretty good distance, especially on a lot of the Aftermath maps, because you can get 2-3 headshots a lot quicker than the one shot that they miss, because this thing shoots 500 rounds per minute, so that means you can spam it a lot faster than you could ever consider spamming it. Oh, look at this sniper. Boom, down instantly. Granted, I was assisted by my buddy there, but this thing does kill people pretty quickly. I think a lot of people underestimate how quickly you can drop people at longer ranges with the G3, so it's a very interesting setup. Now let's say you don't have the G3, or you just hate it and you don't want to touch it. Is there any alternative to using the G3 in a long-range assault sniper role? Yes, there's actually one weapon that I can think of off the top of my head, and that is the AN-94. The AN-94 actually possesses the ability to be very good at longer ranges. You can actually be pretty successful with it. The 2-round burst capabilities makes it extremely powerful at longer ranges, so you can be pretty tricky with it. And right there, I picked that guy off, that little sniper man poking his head off. So AN-94 is another good alternative. I personally think the G3 is the best at the assault sniper role. I don't think anything else really comes close to it. I have tried the Scar L before. Since it is lower recoil, it's pretty steady at longer ranges. It's pretty decent. I've had good luck with the Scar L and the higher zoom scopes, but like I said, G3 just reigns supreme. This is my assault sniper go-to weapon. This thing can just take people out so quickly at medium long range. I mean, it's just absolutely brilliant. I mean, look at this right here. That guy's poking his head out. Boom. If I see you, you're pretty much dead, especially if I get at least one headshot. I can usually down people pretty quickly, and then I have the advantage of being able to revive my teammates. So if you like playing Recon, here's a different twist on it. Try the InTheWorks assault sniper out. I think you guys will have a lot of fun with it. It's tricky to get used to, but once you do, you can have some good results. But if you missed any of my last videos, here's a chance to catch up. And if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, because I did spend a lot of time putting this together for you guys, and I would really appreciate it. But I'll see you guys next time. Peace.